One, two, three, the lawn team.
Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode where we are the Lawn Feed and we're teaching DIY lawn care, but in a super simplified way. We like to keep all the egos away, where if we fail, it's okay. We call them learning moments. And, we're just all here to help each other out in the end. The end goal is to have a beautiful, healthy lawn. I'm your host today, Vince with Rooted Lawn Co. With me, I have Andrew, the Dad Bod Lawn. Say hello, Andrew.
Hello, everybody.
Tonight, we also have another special guest. If you're watching, you can see that's not Chris. Chris isn't joining us tonight. We have Cam from Elevated Lawnscapes. I hope you guys already know who this is. He is he's local to me, but he's one of our favorite lawn care content creators, teaching DIYers out there just solid fact-based information and so much more. Cam, say hello to the folks.
Hello, everybody. What's going on, good people?
We are super excited to have you on here. Appreciate you taking the time. We'll get into it of why we're really appreciative here soon. But first, Andrew, we like to do some dad's wins and losses. So go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so as we always do to start off these episodes, we have wins and losses where us as dads, as parents, get to share a win and a loss as far as parenthood in our lives, kind of make ourselves vulnerable and maybe relatable. This week's sponsor is Twin City Seed, which has some of the best grass seed varieties and cultivars available on the market in both single cultivars and their custom house blends such as Resilience 2, Blue Resilience, and Fielder's Choice. They have free shipping and they often have 10% off codes, but we actually have a special code for you. Lawn Feed 10 will get you 10% off your orders. So check that out. Now, this is actually a very special dad's wins and losses because Cam is a new father, first-time father, and he's only been a father for a week. So I'm super excited to see what you have to say about this little bundle of joy in your life. So Cam, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, so I guess I will go ahead and start with the win. The win is now I get to participate in dad wins and losses.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a week old as of yesterday. Camden Lee Johnson is the name, and yeah,
strong name.
He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's amazing. We're enjoying it. We're taking up and cherishing every moment that we can. I've got the rest of December off of work, and including the first week of January. So I'm gonna just soak up all these moments and everything that I can. So yeah, he's amazing right now, but we're not getting a whole lot of sleep. So I guess from a losses standpoint, you get lack of sleep. And the other thing is, I guess I've already been initiated into the Boy Dads Club already. So I'm pretty sure y'all know what that means. I've got the christening already.
I don't know what that means. I'm a girl dad right now. What does that mean?
Yes, I've gotten the golden shower already.
Yeah, boys like to project it out because they just kind of go straight towards the person changing their diaper typically.
I swear they wait until they feel the diaper being removed and then
that cold breeze.
Gotcha.
Yes. So I was joking with him. The one thing is I was actually able to deflect most of it and get it back into the diaper. And I was like, you tried to get me. She's got to be quicker than that. Dad's always ready.
You got to be quicker than that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, things are great, man.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting. It's super special. And I'm excited to see him grow, see how you guys just grow as parents. And yeah, you guys are gonna be awesome with it. So appreciate you sharing that. It's just such a fun little part of the episode to share some vulnerabilities and now you get to be a part of the dad club. So welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Feels amazing.
One shower at a time.
You're right.
All right, Cam. Well, if our listeners for some reason don't know who you are, give them a little background about who you are.
All right, cool. So Cam from Elevated Lawnscapes on all my social media, YouTube and IG. That's where you can find me. And also, I'm from Greenville, North Carolina. So originally a Southern boy, moved up into Maryland once I graduated college. So I've been up here about 14 years now. And started off in probably about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, actually taking care of my own lawn. Once we bought our house about 6 years ago, I just wasn't happy with the results that I was getting once we moved in. My dad's always had a nice lawn, and my dad just kind of instilled that in me. One of my chores when I was younger was cutting the grass. So I've been cutting grass since probably the age of 7, 8, to the point that I actually didn't weigh enough to keep. It was an old rotting Murray mower. I actually didn't weigh enough to keep the seat engaged. So I had a little cinder block that I had to put in the seat with a little pad over the top to keep it engaged. That's how young I was when I started cutting grass.
You don't see that anymore, you know?
Yeah, man. You got to get out there and get after it, man. I grew up in the country, so my dad was like, "Hey, you got chores to do. You got responsibilities around here. Like the
you got to pull your lack of weight.
Yeah, you got to pull your weight around here." So I started cutting grass at an early age, and even then, I still enjoyed it. I mean, most people looked at it as a chore when they had to go out and cut grass. I still actually enjoyed it. I mean, even at an earlier age, even through high school and everything, when it was still my chore. I picked up a couple of lawns in the neighborhood, and that was kind of like my little side hustle. Made me a little money that way. And my dad also did the same thing. We used to, on Saturdays, go cut a couple of lawns in the local town over. So, yeah,
That's awesome.
I mean, grass has always been a big part of me. So then it kind of pulled me into, once I had my own lawn, it was, hey, I'm gonna start taking care of it. I want it to be as best as it can be, and that's when I actually started. Just as everybody else does, you go to your big box store and you grab fertilizer and seed, and that's what kind of where you think you start. And I ran into some errors along the way with that process, and me being data driven, I was like, all right, it's time to learn the science of it and really get into understanding how to make this lawn better. So that's what I did, and that's now what I'm bringing forth to other people in my content, which is data-driven decisions. It's not necessarily just go purchase a product that's going to get you to the results that you want.
Yeah, there's definitely a bigger, there's more to it than just going to your big box store, grabbing a thing of fert and throwing it down and hoping for the best.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be super complex too. Even if you're using the data out there, you're actually going to be like, wow, this is really easy. Why wasn't I doing this before? So that's cool. It's a really cool approach. But you guys, speaking of your YouTube and your Instagram, you have a shirt on, We Workin'. What is that?
Yes, so I am 1/3 of the working crew, so that is including myself, Polo from Polo Fields Lawn Service, and also Turf from Turf Therapy. So you can find both of those guys over on IG and YouTube. We kind of teamed up. Turf was actually local. Being that he's military at the time when we met, he was local. He's now on deployment, which he'll be back soon. We're looking forward to that when he's able to get back. We kind of teamed up when he was local, and then we kind of met up with Polo, who's out in Louisville, Kentucky, and we've just kind of been rocking together, kind of like y'all guys with the lawn feed. And it's good to have somebody to kind of bounce ideas off, bounce issues and stuff off. And it's fun making content together and being able to collab on different ideas and just also Polo's in the field, being that he's actually got a full service spray business. So he sees a lot of the stuff, and he's further south in a warmer climate. So a lot of times he sees a lot of the stuff in the field before we do in like the northern climates with the changes in like climates and changes in weather patterns and disease pressure and that kind of thing. So it's always good to kind of get some additional info there on what might be coming your way.
Yeah, that's it is very interesting how we do have very similar stories about how you guys are three that came together and doing a similar thing, and then us. It's pretty cool, and it definitely is super helpful having those people to lean on and bounce ideas off of. I don't know where I'd be without these other two yahoos that I'm stuck in this business with, but you kind of touched on your social media a little bit and maybe why you got into it, but like, what was the true reason why you wanted to get into social media? Like, if people haven't checked out your YouTube channel yet, it is so relaxing and satisfying just to hear you on your YouTube channel, because you explain things so well, and your voice and your just how you present it is just so relaxing, and just I don't know. I see your channel as something completely different than what I normally take in. So, what made you want to educate people?
Well, first off, I appreciate that. The interesting thing about it is I didn't like a camera. I didn't want to be in front of a camera. It just wasn't really my personality at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a big step for me to actually start making content. So the reason I wanted to start was because I felt there was a community of people that were just starting to buy their first homes, which was me. And I felt that there was a younger generation that really didn't want to kind of look at the more seasoned or experienced content creators that were kind of on the scene then. I want to put a new twist on it, like just to freshen things up, to give it a different feel, give it a different vibe to it. So you'll catch that in my music, the way that my music selection, my music choice, and then also just kind of give it a different look and kind of refresh it a little bit. And my thing is I always want to put my own. I put my own swag on everything. So one of my things that you'll see in my content is I'm me 100%. What you see right now, what you see in my content, and when you meet me in person, and we all got to meet at GIE, which
Good time.
is what, which it was, which is
That
really
was
what
really
makes me making content a lot easier, is being 100% me. When I step on camera, it's not necessarily I've got to switch to a different person when I'm on camera versus what you meet in person. So I felt there was a younger community and population of people out there that were just buying those homes, and they were looking for information on how do I take care of my first lawn. Maybe they got it sodded and now it's died, or it didn't take the way that they planned or wanted it to. Now they're looking for answers. So that was the population of people that I was looking for, which is why my content is kind of put together the way that it is.
Now, are you 100% self-taught, like, YouTube University, like a lot of people out there? I know you use a lot of credible sources and you back it all up as people should. But what is your background as far as like being able to educate people in that manner?
So from a turf standpoint, I am currently, and which I need to finish up. I've been studying at the University of Georgia. They've got an online turf management certification. So I've been working through that, and the rest of it is self-taught through reading articles after articles after articles and research and different books and all of that. So nothing against YouTube University. I've done a lot of things and I've learned a lot of things from YouTube University. But I'm also very data driven. I'm an engineer by degree. So a lot of times things just sink in better with me with data, graphs, and statistics, and it sinks in, and I actually understand it better that way. And I actually believe the data. At the end of the day,
Right.
numbers and data is what drives the results.
Absolutely. Vince and I both are in healthcare, so we are both, I think, very data driven and think the same way. So makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah.
So let's get into your lawn a little bit.
Let's do it.
What's your lawn looks okay. I mean, it looked all right this year towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
It looked phenomenal. What type of grass, what height of cut, or I should say, what height of cuts do you have in different portions of your lawn?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this is going to be a mixed bowl. So y'all follow with me.
Sorry, Vince is a mixed
So
bowl himself.
so we'll start in the backyard. My backyard, that's the fenced in area that you'll see in like my pictures and videos and stuff. So backyard is Kentucky bluegrass and which is a 365 SS Kentucky bluegrass mixed with the Mountain View seed tall turf type fescue or turf type tall fescue. So for them, I'm using that. I started with an overseed with the Pete GCI. I did a full renovation about 4 years ago, and turned out amazing. Looked great until disease pressure season hit, and cutting a tall fescue tall in a shady area was not the best decision. So I ended up getting Pythium, and it basically wiped out 70-80% of that full renovation that I did. So at that point, that was the point of where I changed, and I was like, I need more data. Like, this isn't just a go out here and do it. I was like, there's more to this. So that's when I switched over. So I'm using all Mountain View seed cultivars now in my backyard, which is a 365 SS and the lateral spread tall fescue. My front yard actually has not been fully renovated. My front yard is just a consistent overseed for the past couple of years. I'm probably overseeded it 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. And I did not overseed it this year. I just did a power rake through it quickly with the little Sun Joe, just a quick power rake through it, kind of thinned it out just a little bit, and that was it. And it looks amazing. It's like it said, thank you for doing that. And that's all I did to it this fall, and put the fert to it, and it looks amazing. Then you have my small test plot strip, which over on the side, that was my original tall fescue or Mountain View seed tall fescue that I wanted to try it out 4 years ago. That was the first area that I planted, and I looked at it and I looked at it for a season, and I was like, this stuff is freaking amazing. And at that time, it was a lot cheaper than what it is now.
Yeah,
And that was another
seed is
reason.
not cheap.
Yeah, that was another reason why I went to it, because it was cheaper and I could buy it locally. I had a local seed distributor that I could go get it from. And I mean, it was like, I think at that time it was like $80 for a 50-pound bag of Mountain View seed.
It's like
$80
triple
for a
that now.
50. Yeah, like $80 for a 50-pound bag. And I was like, yeah, let me try this stuff out. And it looked freaking amazing. Right now, it's actually cut at 1.75 inches.
Tall fescue, 1.75 inches.
Yeah, tall fescue at 1.75 inches. And I'm gonna take it down lower as we open the spring up. And then I've got my real mode strip that's out in the front where I started my low cut fescue testing. I real mode that with just a manual push reel at an inch all this season, and it looked freaking phenomenal. And it's very shade tolerant, so that area gets very little sun during the growing season. So at that point, I was like, it helps with shade tolerance, and it looks great, and it's low cut. It stood up to it. So my backyard right now is at 2 inches. I will be bringing that down to probably an inch and a half during the season. I'll be doing some sand top dressing throughout the season, getting some humps and bumps and stuff leveled out. I want to get my backyard down. I want to get my backyard down to real mode height by next fall. So that's the goal. That's the goal for
we'll get into that shortly then.
Yeah.
Got to hear more about that.
Yep.
You know, it's really cool to hear about tall fescue, like being so short, because everybody sees tall fescue as like, I got to cut it 3 to 4 inches. Like, I don't want tall fescue. And people don't realize that these newer cultivars is actually recommended to cut between like 2.5 inches. It'll say they're right on the specs. That's where it does best. No.
Yeah,
not at all.
They're not the same. And spoiler alert, I'm actually putting together a video on that. Like I'm gonna specifically talk about how to cut on like some of the newer. It'll be Mountain View seed. That's what I've got my experience with. So I'm putting together a video to kind of talk about that. Like I said, my backyard, I kept it at 3 inches for a couple of years, and it looked amazing. And a lot of people are like, "What's your height of cut?" I get asked all the time, "What's my height of cut?" And I've cut it at 3 inches for a couple of years. Now I'm looking for another challenge. I also get bored, and I want to do different things. Like so.
I hear you on that one.
If you're not trying to kill your grass, what are you doing? You know,
right. If you're not killing it, you're not even doing anything. Right?
You're just maintaining it. That's boring for guys like us. We're just wired different.
Yeah. So
we like to keep the neighbors guessing. You know,
he looked beautiful. Now he's killing it. What's going on?
Right. What is going on? It'll be perfectly green, and then like 2 weeks later, it's completely brown. Like, what are you doing
on purpose?
Oh well, you know, I had a little bit of lime green spots in it, and I just wanted a different variety. They're just like, what?
Different variety? So the best lawn in the neighborhood already. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, so it's time for me to take on a new challenge, and I think trying to get the tall fescue down to a real mode height, and I want to get into the real mode game.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, I must say your backyard might be the cleanest looking backyard I've ever seen in pictures and videos. Like, I don't know. We'll have to talk another time about your mulch game, because that's always seems to be so on point, so edge. Clean. The edge,
curvy edge. Yeah.
Every time I see like you're posting stuff in your backyard, maybe it's just right after you spruced it up, so it looks really nice. But like, dude, so good, so satisfying.
I mean, he uses red mulch. I got to tell the viewers that. I got to give Cam some crap. He uses red mulch, but he makes red mulch look good.
If he likes it, that's all that matters.
Yes,
it looks
good. And I will stand by my red mulch. It's very select cases of where it works. And
it makes it pop on your property. Yes. It makes it pop with the fence.
With the fence.
With the fence, with all the green that's surrounding it, with the grass, and that's one of the reasons why I went with the red, was because of that. Like it's just that contrast, and it gives the grass that extra pop, and it just stands out more. So it was. Again, there was some logic, but there was some logic behind it.
Well, it's always, I always say to people, you know, it's some YouTubers and DIYers get some slack because it's like, well, you cared for your lawn, and it's easy to take care of your lawn for the most part, but when you start treating other people's lawns, that's when it gets, you know, you're putting your name on the line. You're getting your neck out there. So it's one thing to care for your lawn, but you're treating other people's lawns too, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I am certified and licensed fertilization applicator. So I do have other lawns that I do fertilize and maintain. So which is also the other challenge with that is like you're not in control of everything at that standpoint. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there every day to see what's going on. I'm not there to see how they're watering, see how they're cutting, and all of those things. So a lot of times you run up with different challenges than when you're in your own home lawn, when you can see things changing on a day-to-day basis, and you can kind of have that history of what's happening after an application. So yeah, it is definitely very different. And client lawns are looking good. Like whenever I pull up in a neighborhood and my lawns are the best ones on the block and they're still green. Like right now, we're into mid December almost, and you can look at exactly where the property lines are. And I'm like, yeah, we're golden. Like we're looking good. Um, so and I think a lot of that also goes into seed choice. Seed choice is always a big part of that, and your fertilization. And a lot of my clients, I mean, I picked up one new one, two new ones this year. Most of my other clients have been with me since I've started, so they're about 3 years in now they've been with me, that I've been treating those lawns. And we got a saying with when the we working crew, put 2 years on it. Put 2 years of dedication and good fertilization, a good program of cultural practices, and your lawn will thank you. And it'll almost get to the point that it's on easy street. You can get you a good program going, and then just rinse and repeat. And like those lawns that I've had for 3 years, I didn't overseed any of them this year. And
That's
as a
awesome.
business owner, that's money out of my pocket that I didn't make this year on those. But at the same time, I'm not gonna push a overseeding on my client when I know it's not necessary. So yeah, it's kind of the way it is. I mean, it's a good place to be. I mean, you've got a program that's doing what it's supposed to do. You want to get to the point that you don't have to overseed every year, like I didn't here. Like my front yard, no overseed. My test plot, no overseed. My backyard, I did overseed it a little bit. I think I went with like 2 pounds of seed, um, just because I know I'm going to be going down to a lower height of cut. Um, and I just wanted to tighten up and fill in a little bit more, knowing that I've taken it down and I'm going to be going down to a lower height of cut next year. I want to have more plants there.
Yeah. So with treating them, not being able to see them frequently, what would you say your two biggest learning moments were, treating other people's lawns? That can be applicable for the DIYer too.
Yeah. Watering. Watering is the biggest one. So growing grass in the spring is not hard in even in the transition zone. Like it's up till June, it's not hard to grow cool season grass. It almost grows on its own because it just jumps out the ground screaming. But
Yeah.
then soon as June hits, June, July, August is the watering. And I'll talk to clients and it's like, yeah, we're gonna water, we're gonna water, we're gonna water. And then next thing you know, you get a call. Why's my lawn brown? And I know I've been watching the weather, I've been watching what's going on, and I'll even send out notifications like, hey, we haven't had rain in 3 weeks. Make sure you're watering. Like you should have already, even though I tell them you need to be watering the XYZ per week, the kind of typical standard stuff. But yeah, watering is a big one. And I've always been big on watering anyway. Um, watering, I think that's staying on top of your watering. It'll go a long way, even if you're not gonna water all through the summer. Just kind of make a decision and kind of tailor your expectations of what you want. I've got clients that's like, hey man, I'm not gonna water. Like it just it's not in my budget. I don't care about it that much. And then like we kind of and I explain to them the results of what's gonna happen and like what we'll need to do in the back end of that. And he's like, okay, like I'm fine with that. And okay, cool. We'll move forward. But watering is the big one, and then the next one is mowing. Because being that I don't mow, um, mowing with dull blades, different mowing heights, mowing frequency. I've got a couple clients that only get their yards cut once every 2 weeks, and
Oof.
of course, I'm like
Wow.
yes, yeah, they only get a cut once every 2 weeks. So with that, I've actually tailored my fertilization programs for that. Like knowing they're only going to get cut once every 2 weeks, I don't need to have those lawns juiced up. Like it's just going to grow like crazy. You let it go 2 weeks during the spring when it's already jumping out the ground with the spring flush and everything else. I've been able to tailor those fertilization programs. So yeah, watering and mowing. Those are my practices. So I would say to the DIYer, mow frequently as you can, at least twice a week if you can. If not, at least once a week. Get out and mow your lawn. Watering, at least try to, it depends on where you are, and there's a lot of other factors, but just to kind of keep it simple, if you can get an inch of water down on it a week, it'll hold it over.
Well, cool, good stuff, Cam. How many clients do you have? Like, and how much time do you put into this? Because you do have a regular day job as well, correct?
Yeah. So I do have a 9 to 5 program manager by day, and fertilizer application by night, I guess you would want to say.
A little headlamp.
And yeah, a little headlamp there. But right now, I've got 7 clients that I have and lawns that I maintain. I kind of capped it there. I've had a lot more people that wanted me to do their lawns, but like I said, I've got a regular 9 to 5, and now I'm a dad at this
Yeah.
point. So next season's gonna get very interesting, especially with that, and then content creation and all of that part of it. So um, I want to I want to do other lawns just for the knowledge base, and also like that challenge of being able to see what's going on in the field. So I do enjoy that. I mean, it's going out a lot of times. You'll see things that I may not experience in my lawn, that I've experienced in my client lawns, and you'll catch those full renovations. And I got to get this one video out that I wanted to get it out before the renovation season of the fall ended, but things got a little busy around here. There's like different approaches that I've been able to take with my client lawns that I just haven't been able to do with mine because I'm established at this point. I mean, my lawn's kind of on cruise control as long as things don't go too haywire with the weather patterns, and I don't do something to kill it, which is typically what is typically what happens. If I would just leave it alone, it would probably be just fine. But it's always, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I push it more? Can I push it more? Can I try something else? And is a lot of the things is also to learn, to see what I can do, to see how far I can push it. And then that also gives me the knowledge base to be able to explain it to the average homeowner that may want to try this, or I can at least explain results of some of the things that may happen if you push it this way, or if you don't do this, or if you do go too much on your end on a liquid application. So yeah, that is. I like to have those additional lawns just to be able to continue to grow my knowledge as far as with those applications and what the results are for them.
Yeah. At the beginning of the episode, you mentioned that, you started out with going to the big box store and grabbing some products and throwing them down. So if you're not going to the big box store anymore, what are some of your favorite products that you used this year that you think, besides water, that you've noticed the biggest difference in the quality or overall health of your turf? Do you have a couple favorite go-to products?
Yeah, I've got a couple. So one of them is from Simple Lawn Solution. I really like their micronutrient. I think it's Micro Booster is which one theirs is. So I really like that product along with the 600.
Love 600.
Yeah. Yeah, I like those two. Those are two good products that I really do like from the liquid line. On my low cut turf, I tried the I think it's Turfplex from Ecologel. That's their 2003. And on the low cut stuff that I've got, the 1 inch tall fescue out front, it was all liquid this year, and that Turfplex was what I used on it all year. And it looked amazing, like not big flushes, even though it was a 2003, I think is what the analysis is on it. I spoon fed it the way that I wanted to, and it looked really good. I like the green up from it, not a big surge of growth, but just healthy growth throughout the year. So those two products there, and in my backyard, from a granular standpoint, I actually went with the lawn supply company, the Nor fertilizers in my backyard. So that's what I ran for all my granular applications, and
Which
even
ones?
throughout it. So Maxor, I think is Maxor is
the 2500.
Yeah, it's a 2500. Maxor, and also I forget what it's called, but it's a
Greener.
1707, the greener. Yeah.
That.
Yep. Yeah.
So
yeah. That's that sand. That sand that you're spreading.
Sand. I went down. I actually got to visit Cam this year. I was heading down to Virginia. Made a pit stop. It was like 7:00 at night. I was like, "Hey man, I'm driving by. Can I stop by?" He's like, "Sure." So took a little detour, and we were looking at some of those products. And that greener is literally, I mean, what is it, SGN's like 80 or something?
Yeah,
75.
I think it's set. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Sand.
It's sand.
But I did buy it, and I put it on my lawn, and I have never seen a better result after fertilizer application than that product. And it's not like a huge surge of growth. Yeah. It just gets dark, and oh man, it's a solid product.
Yeah, and see, the thing is that small of a SGN. That's one of the things that I've come to enjoy now is like the smaller SGN products, even though I'm not on low cut turf yet. I'm getting there yet.
So real quick, not to cut you off, but what is SGN?
So SGN is your prill size, or how big the granule is in the fertilizer bag. So the higher the number, the bigger the prill size, or the SGN is. The smaller it is, you get closer to sand. So you get down to it. You get closer to a smaller prill size. And the benefit of that is your coverage. One of the benefits is you get better coverage. You get more uniform coverage across an area, instead of, if you think about it, you've got a large prill size that you're putting out in a spreader, you're going to have more gaps in between of where that product is actually going to land as you're making those applications. Imagine if you're spreading sand out or something smaller, the smaller the prill size is, you will have more of those granules closer together as you're making that application, therefore giving you a more uniform application, green up, nutrient distribution, and everything else across your lawn. So that's one of the things that I've grown to really enjoy that. Hey, hats off to Scott's, honestly. Like I'll be honest, like I don't have a beef with Scott's. I just have a beef with the application rates, to be honest with you. That's really my only beef with it. But Scott, in the price. Scott's products are they're
SGN.
smaller SGN.
Yeah.
Like when you get ready to spread a Scott's Fert, I mean I don't know exactly what it is, but I would say it's at least 180, 120.
Yeah. I'd say
Maybe
also
it's
say about
smaller than
150.
that, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not a 200 or better SGN on it. And a lot of them are also, I forgot what you call it. I'm blanking here. All your nutrients are in one prill.
Homogenized.
Homogenous prills. Yeah. And a lot of their fertilizers are homogenous prills. It's like, so now you get all of your nutrients in every single prill and every single granule instead of them. I don't have a beef with Scott's. Like I would, now knowing the knowledge and that I have right now, I could use Scott's products more effectively than what they have on the bag and really get a good feed and application out of a Scott's product. I really think I can.
You know, I've always really enjoyed, I don't use Milorganite very much anymore on my lawn, just mainly for phosphorus reasons, but I've always enjoyed throwing down Milorganite because it's, you know, you're not going to burn your lawn with it, so you can overdo it if you wanted to, but the prill size is so small that it just feels like you're just like coating the whole thing.
And you
and
can
it's just
see
kind of satisfying. Yeah, it's just like
and
I'm
you
putting
can
down
see
way
it.
too much, but no, you're good. It's an organic fertilizer. You're going to be okay. But yeah,
when I'm spreading that greener and the sun's setting and I'm going the wrong way, I'm like, I don't know if it's coming out. I think it is. I can't really see it.
You just gotta trust
like
it.
that small. Yep. And then
it's hard to trust it though sometimes.
It is. I think the first time I used it, I messaged Ryan. I was like, it's like, man, that's some difficult stuff to use. I was like, I think I'm gonna have stripes some tiger stripes when in a couple days when it greens up. And no, it was good, but you just gotta trust the process.
Yeah, and you gotta know your spreader settings, and you gotta know your spreader widths, and you gotta. You just kind of got to be on top of your equipment game and make sure you know, same with the Scott's product. When you get to those smaller SGNs, I tried a new product this year for the fall on my clients, which is Lebanon Turf Country Club fertilizer 19019. It's actually got a blue prill in it, and man, that stuff spreads like butter. I mean, you can see it, like it spreads even, it spreads uniform, it greens up. Like this was like fall applications. I was like, yep. I went back to my distributor and was like, yep. I only had a couple of bags left when I bought it. I was like, give me everything you got. I'm gonna stock up for next season. Like that's, I was like, yeah, just let me get it. It was a nice spread. I like the results and stuff from it. I also like the price of it at the same time. So
buy it when it's low, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so I like a product that's got a little methylated urea in it. That's going to give me a little slower feed given certain periods of the year. That's one of the things that I like to see in my fertilizer products.
Going back to you're talking about like figuring out your fertilizer spreader and getting that dialed in, right? I switched to a new spreader this year, and like you said, it's a huge learning curve going to a new spreader, getting that dialed in,
Yeah.
right? And one of the biggest mistakes that I made was like, oh, I got a bunch of like the same bags. I'm gonna remember the spreader setting next time I go to spread in a month and a half. And then I go a month and a half later, I didn't write it down and I can't remember what the
Yeah.
spreader setting was. And I happened to spread some other kind of product in between and it changed it. So write down your spreader settings. Like even if you feel
Yes.
like it's a product you might only use one time, write it down because like a
Yep.
year or two down the road, you're going to be like, I'm so glad I wrote that down. So
Yep. Yeah.
just a little
And
learning moment for me.
even with all my applications, I've gotten in the habit of doing that. No matter what the application is, I always put down, even if it's the same product and I already know what it is. I just document how many pounds of N that I'm going down, or how many pound, whatever nutrient I'm trying to monitor. Typically is N. So making sure I record that total amount of product that I'm putting down and spreader setting. It just keeps a good record for it in case if you need to flip back and look at it and it's like, oh, I like that quarter pound that I put down of this, or oh, I like this half a pound, or whew, that half a pound was a little bit too much. I need to make sure sure I dialed that back.
I don't think anybody's ever said I wrote down too much information. I should probably cut back. So
Yeah, nah.
doesn't hurt. Well, all right. Hey, we've kind of already touched on this, but is there any other spoilers for 2024 you want to touch on real quick before we call this a day?
I think my biggest one is gonna be my goal is real mowing tall fescue by next fall. So I'm gonna try not to bore y'all with my sand leveling videos and all of that throughout the season. I think there's plenty of them out
you
there.
have to do that. You have to do a sand level video.
Wait, are those boring? I didn't realize that. I thought they were fun.
Yeah, but there'll probably be at least one of those. I know I've got to do some sand leveling and everything there, and there may be a huge sand leveling project in the mix also for 2024. So I did do a renovation this year, and I'll probably work on getting the rest of this content out this fall on my dad's lawn, which was a 20,000 square foot iron cutter Bermuda renovation. It came in and looked freaking amazing. It's gone dormant at this point, and the good thing about it is it's almost like solid brown, like all the way across it. And for a warm season lawn, that is check mark, mission accomplished, like from coverage, weed pressure, and all of that. We'll just make sure we get a pre-emergent down on it before things start to wake up in the spring. But yeah, it'll probably be a big sand leveling project on that one. And then spoiler, throughout the winter season, I'll be getting that content out and exactly how we did all of that for the Mountain View Seed iron cutter renovation there. And hopefully it's going to be a lot of low cut stuff around here at Elevated Lawnscapes. The front yard will be the tallest, and it'll be at 3 inches. So I'm going to cut the front yard at 3 inches, and everything else is going to be sub 3 inches around here. Backyard's already at 2 inches. First cut on the backyard is probably going to be at 1.75 inches. First cut coming out next spring. It may be at 1.5 inches. We'll see what the
go 1.5 inches.
Master. Yeah, we'll see what the E-Time Master feels like doing.
So, are you going to get a real mower other than like the manual ones? What's your mower choice here?
That's gonna be a part of the. So I was at GIE. I was looking at a couple at GIE. So I'm looking. I'm in the real mower market. I haven't narrowed it down to anything yet. So I'm looking at that. I may pick up a Hudson. I like the Hudson for like my smaller areas, like my
So
little
you're gonna go
side,
real low.
my test plot. Yeah, I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play around with my test area and also my front strip. So it sub inch. I want to push those two
Whew.
areas because I can manage them. I want to go sub inch on those. So I'm gonna try and talk to Hudson and see if we can work something out. And
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to
yeah,
say, you're going to be
it,
sacrificing diaper money for real mower money. So
yeah,
yeah, if you
yeah.
can get a company to work with you, then good for you.
Yeah, I don't know
Please
if you
like
knew
and
this, Cam, but they pee and poop a lot.
yeah. So please like and subscribe to Elevated Lawnscapes and continue watching. Just put them on the loop. Just
Yeah,
put the videos on the
yeah,
loop.
yeah.
Shares. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, we need real more money. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it, and the thing is I think it's gonna be uh fresh new content for 2024. Just the fact that it's not a lot of real mowing. I know turf culture. He's actually real mowing his fescue. I think he's at
Mm-hmm.
like an inch and a half. He's out there, so I've talked with him a couple of times. We're just trying to get a little bit more content out there, just around the lower cut new cultivars of tall fescue because it's possible. I mean, it's definitely possible. The new cultivars of tall fescue are not the fescues of old. They're just
Mm-hmm.
not. They don't look the same. The color isn't the same. They don't grow the same. And I have experience with the Mountain View seed cultivars, and they look and they perform more like a Kentucky bluegrass minus the water requirements. So um, I like them. I, I like them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've kind of converted to a tall fescue guy, I think, this year too myself. And Vince kind of gives me a hard time. He calls tall fescue the new sissy grass. And I think he says that just because he's using the real sissy grass over at his house. So.
He's 100% sissy over there.
No, no, no. I have
No.
my Kentucky bluegrass and 100% sun on a slope, so I have some cloud over here, right?
Yeah, which you'll probably overseed with sissy grass.
No, I'm a Kentucky bluegrass all day, but that perennial rye side lawn
It
is
does look good.
insane.
I'll be
It
I'm
curious
like,
to see how it
why?
does in your first summer with it. It'll be
Yeah,
It looks
that's where the
good.
true test will be. But yeah, it does look good.
it's
It looks good. That color that's in it, and like how quickly it came in, and the way that it stripes, man, that perennial ryegrass, man. It looks
it's nutty.
good. It looks good. I I can't put it past. I don't have anything bad to say about it when it comes to the looks of it. Like
I know.
it definitely looks really good. And the height of cuts that you can get it to. Like
Hmm.
we're pushing these fescues over here when we start to get sub a inch. Like you're starting to push them a little bit. But I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And again, it challenges me to learn my management practices, like some different management, water management, paying attention to your weather patterns, paying attention to your fertilization, like making sure you're dialed in with your fertilization. When you're managing low cut turf, it's not just throw it down and
It's a whole other ball game.
it's a whole different ball game. And it's not for everybody. I will say that. Like I do want to put that out there. Like
Hmm.
it is not for everybody. And you'll see my content around it, but it's something that I like. It's a challenge that I want to step into because it's something I've never done before, which is another reason why I did a 20,000 square foot iron cutter Bermuda renovation because I just never did it before and I wanted a challenge. So it's one of those things that it is not for everyone. And you don't have to do it. Like, you can have a nice lawn without going to the extremes that we talk about and the extremes that we show. You'll notice that when you ask me about what were the moments or things that I learned, it wasn't a specific product. It wasn't a specific this. It was two cultural practices. And I believe that if you dial in your cultural practices, watering, fertilization, mowing, and your weed control / fungicides if you need them, you dial those things in, like, it's the average person, if you want a nice home lawn, you'll be happy with that.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So, Andrew, do you agree?
Nuts.
Do you concur?
I concur.
You concur?
Cultural practices concurred.
We are nuts. We take lawn care to the next level. But it's good. It's good. It's healthy, right? It's healthy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just keep saying so.
It's our hobby. I'm not spending hundreds of dollars a weekend on golf anymore. It's lawn care now.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of sleep, Cam, you probably got to get some sleep too with your 1 week old. So we're super pumped that you came on, sacrificed some of your precious sleep, some time. Thank you for joining us again, guys. Elevated Lawnscapes, Instagram, YouTube. They have a podcast too. Usually it's on one of their channels that we work and cruise. So make sure you go and support them. Go check them out. And as always, make sure you give us a like, a follow, subscribe, whatever you want to do to share some love. And we'll see you in the next one. See ya.
See you guys.
See ya.